Great to see you here again. My name is Luc de Custer, founder of the Custer Academy. And in this new video about the critical chain project management method, I'm going to have a look what is the human side that was at the basis of the creation of the critical chain project management method. Now, before we continue, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. So let's have a look at projects and people. What is the link between projects and people? Now, people are very important in project because they are planning and executing the project. It's still the people who are doing it, and we find ways how to plan the project in an optimal way. The people are executing it, even using robots and IT materials, IT support, whatever they need. Now, the computers are helping the people. They help the people in order to plan and to manage the project in a more efficient way. When you look at very complex projects, making all those diagrams can be very, very complicated and all the links that you have. And a computer is better at doing things like that. Instead of creating all those very complex diagrams and finding out when you can assign people to activities, computers are more efficient, certainly when we have very large projects. Now, we have to understand when we want to know why projects are late or over budget, we have to identify what is the effect of the people on this, because it's the people who are creating the plannings, who are creating the estimations, who are executing the activity. So we have to understand what is the effect of the person or the people who are working on those activities. When your boss asks you to complete a task and they ask you for an estimate of time or cost, how would you react? I remember my boss standing at the coffee machine. Typically in US it would be at a water cooler, but in AT&T Belgium we had a coffee machine, and it's what I call a little bit the coffee machine dilemma or the water cooler dilemma. And he asked me, can you give me an estimate of the cost of this possible addition to a network connection? What I sent him, well, I expect this to cost so much, plus minus, or I said rough order of estimate, which is plus minus 75 to plus 100, depending on the company that you're dealing with and what the norm is in the company. So basically, I already included some unknown elements in the estimate, but when you go to the project itself, those unknown elements should disappear because you know what you want to do. So typically what you want to do when your boss asks you for a task, you will estimate, you will give some additional security for you. So you want to be sure that you will not fail. It means that you give a time and a cost that you can be sure that your project or your task can be completed in that time. In some cases, you want to impress and you say, no, I can do it very fast. Okay, these things also happen. But in general, you will include some additional safety. And that's one of the elements that we see in project estimations, that we add additional security. But there are other things than this. Now let's have a look at the human nature and estimations. We may have optimistic or pessimistic people, and their estimation can, in fact, in both cases, have a problem when you apply them in projects. When you're overly optimistic or overly pessimistic, it is not really good. You have to try to find a realistic estimate for time and cost. Now, Goldratt states also that unless we are careful, we often get the opposite of what we expect. So we try to do something, we try to reduce the duration or we increase the duration, and basically it leads to even more delays or cost overruns. In the book Critical Chain Project Management, Goldratt identifies a number of problems that lead to the issues that we have in the classical critical path method. The first is about estimations. How do we estimate? What is the nature, our human nature, related to estimation. We have the student syndrome. We're talking to students. Students know this, but we will go deeper into this. Basically, it's another element that is well known, the student syndrome. Then there is Parkinson law, very interesting law about work and how people react to work and the time they have to complete a task. Then we have the typical element about multitasking. It's popping up also here. We saw it in Agile, and multitasking is one of those elements that we have to be careful about. And the last element we will talk about is what we call no early finishes. And these are the elements that we will be looking deeper into in the following videos. So that was it. We identified the main elements related to human nature and relate them to the failure of projects. We will look deeper into them in the next videos. But before you leave, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, click on the bell button, and every time we have a new video, YouTube will inform you about it. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye bye.